AOC and the gang are eager to replace native-born Americans and lawful immigrants with foreigners who came here illegally. You kind of need to be replaced, or at least canceled out, by new voters who will be more compliant. And achieving this requires that they pass an amnesty bill as soon as possible. Import new voters to offset and eventually replace all you old people.
Of course you're not working to import as many new citizens as we can into the United States to replace all the disobedient ones who didn't vote for us. We've never seen demographic change like this. It's roughly the equivalent of a brand new city of Chicago every year. A city populated entirely by poor people with limited education who can't speak English.
These are their new voters, and it is a terrifying prospect. If we let everybody just free flow over our southern border, guys, we lose our country. It is a very, very scary thing we've seen going on.
When you change the population, you change the outcome of the vote. So if you open the borders and then sponsor legislation giving citizenship and voting rights to the people you've just admitted illegally, what are you doing? You're trying to change election outcomes. And that's what they are doing.
I think that's a point.
All you have to do is bring in new voters. That's what's going to happen. And it's going to be millions of new people that come in that, again, by the way, haven't been vetted, we haven't looked at, that have just walked across the border. And again, I think it's a tragedy.
Trying to replace the current electorate, the voters now casting ballots, with new people, more obedient voters from the third world. That's what's happening, actually. Let's just say it. That's true. You know, I think we're being replaced to encourage foreigners to move to this country in order to change election results, change the demographic mix of our country, to flood the United States.
Continued mass immigration, you know, a state used to be red and then it was competitively purple, but once it becomes totally blue.
Democrats are intentionally accelerating demographic change in this country. Americans who describe themselves as white has dropped for the first time in our history. The total decline is around 5 million people. Now that is huge. Why did this happen? Where did all these people go and why? They're Americans, remember.
The goal is as much immigration as quickly as possible, as fast as possible, to destroy the working class.
A fundamental transformation of America. It's a full-scale invasion. They're coming to a neighborhood near you. They're coming to our backyard.
The whole point of their immigration policy is to ensure political control, replace the population, get a different outcome.
This is a purposeful resettlement.
To change the racial mix of the country. That's the reason, to reduce the political power of people whose ancestors lived here and dramatically increase the proportion of Americans newly arrived from the third world.
And then the elites say, well, we got to change the electorate.
In the hopes that they'll vote for Democrats. In political terms, this policy is called the Great Replacement.
I'm sure there's some folks that probably think this is the equivalent of an invasion.
The Great Replacement plan is working. It's helping the Democratic Party. That's the whole point.